Link, Coach Dicker just said you'd been the most consistent offensive player through 12 days of spring. What do you kind of feel like you've done to kind of fulfill that and earn that?
Yeah, just approaching every single day as a new opportunity to get better. Not dwelling on the past, and I feel like every day of practice is a chance to get better at something. And for me, the game is always evolving for me, and trying to add traits to my game, and picking up nuances from other players, and seeing how I can take the information to application, as Coach Witt says, and apply it on the field here. And I think the difference this year of me is I'm just trying to do my job the best of my ability, and if I can do that, I know that if I can do my 1/11th, then everyone else on the field will take part.
The 69-yard touchdown catch there. Just describe the rush. You catch the ball, you see the open field, it kind of feel like you're in October again?
Yeah, man, it felt really good to have one of those. I haven't had a untouched touchdown like that in a while, so it felt good to run out there in space, show off the speed a little bit. But it was a great ball by John. O-line, Nakia picked up the pressure. We had a motion, so everyone skated to the left, and I knew I was going to pop out the back door. But yeah, it felt amazing to be out there in open space, running to the end zone, seeing the boys come in the end zone celebrate. That's what football is all about. You dream about those moments, you dream about those plays, and I was just in the right spot at the right time.
A lot of competition, it seems, at receiver, a ton of guys rotating in. In what ways do you think maybe this group is primary ways this group is different from last year?
Yeah, I think we're mature competitors. I think this room is all about doing their job well and doing their job to the best of their ability. And I think this year we brought in guys who fit the mold of what it's like to be here and who've added value to our room. And I think that's the biggest difference in a lot of teams. If you guys have individual players, you're not going to be able to play for each other. And I think this year we made it an emphasis that we got to get each other open. We got to make plays. We got to strain. We got to do the extra effort to, really get what we want to get to. And I think from the top down, that receiver room has been open to learning. And when you have an open mindset to learn, the sky's the limit for those guys. And I think we're just excited to see everyone, take part in this offense.
How would you assess today's offensive performance as a whole for the whole group, maybe also in comparison to the first scrimmage?
Great question. I think we started off a little slow. Defense held us up a little bit from the first couple drives, but I think we responded well to adversity. Offensive line held up really great. We're low on numbers right there, but guys got to step up and do their best they can. But totally, overall, I think we did a great job of just the emphasis was we wanted to run the ball today. We ran the ball. Receivers, we did great at blocking on the perimeter, winning our one-on-one matchups. And at the end of the day, there's always something that we're going to want to be able to get better at. And it's never going to be perfect, but I think the effort and the strain and the intensity that we play with has elevated, and I think that's what we're more, not concerned, but that's what we're more looking at and more point of emphasis this year.
I asked Jake Dickert about this, but it seems like, today the offense, like you said, a little bit of a slow start, but as the game went on, you guys as a whole really did well at just being patient and kind of like letting the play happen, and it resulted in good things like obviously your touchdown and the few catches that Zion had. Just from last year to now, how do you think the offense has gotten better, and especially looking at the film last year compared to now, just like it seems like a vast improvement?
Yeah, definitely. We've improved in some areas that last year kind of haunted us, and I think that response mechanism has elevated for us. But collectively as a group, as an offense, we know that if we're on, the team is on. So I know that making plays and doing our job is the point of emphasis, but going out there with the mindset and the will to win is obviously the point of emphasis for us to get out there and do our job. But I think as a collective group, we're just a great job of making sure we're taking critical criticism and making sure that we're not making the same mistake twice. The best thing about this group is they love to play with each other, and it doesn't matter who's in the game, doesn't matter if I'm in the game, which quarterback's playing, which receiver group is in. Each and every one of them know the common goal you want to get to and know what it takes, and I think that's where you start to see growth from players. That's when you start to see people take advantage of their God-given abilities. They start taking advantage of what their coaches are telling them to do, and eventually, it's only spring. We don't play for a couple of months, but I think right now we're just not worried, but we're enthusiastic to get what we want out of this practice, and every practice is a new opportunity, and I think that our approach has been tremendously different compared to last year.
And I know the slot position receiver you know really well, a guy that got a lot of reps today coming in from community college, DT Sheffield. Just what you've kind of seen from him, his growth, and how you've kind of noticed him adjusting.
Yeah, DT's the man. He's been amazing. It took a little bit for him to open up. Obviously, coming to Pullman is a little bit different, but he's done a great job of just gelling with the guys. Obviously, his playmaking ability is off the charts. Sky's the limit for that dude. He's going to be a great player for the Cougs in the future, this season and however long he stays here. But what I've seen from him is just the growth mindset, just him being able to take advantage of not only his abilities, but him wanting to learn, him craving criticism, but also just him being able to transition. It's tough coming from a community college to a Power 5 school and wanting to fit in, learning new coaching styles, new practice habits, but I think he's done a great job of wanting to get better every practice, and he's been focusing on his practice habits, and also he's grown in a maturity level from, as playing receiver, it's a hard position. When you're not getting the ball, things aren't going your way, what does your body language look like? And I think he's done a great job of growing in that, and that's only going to help him in the future.
And then just quickly, with that slot group, just the leadership role that you feel like you're taking on this season and what you kind of expect from that group this season.
Man, I expect a lot. I hold them to a high standard just because, in the slot, you're being guarded by 3 guys all the time. You got to be able to play in space. You got to be a football player. And so whenever I can help those guys with the experience that I have, I know when I'm talking, they're listening, and I know, I add value to their game. But I'm just excited to see each and every one of them go out and just play ball, cut it loose, have fun, and go play. But what I love about the slot group is we're all learning from each other. And I think that's the difference between great receiver rooms and just average receiver rooms. You get people who come from different backgrounds, different diversity, different ethnicities, and you learn from them. So we all know our common goal, but when we're learning from each other, we can pick up things from each other's game, and eventually we're going to be working as a whole, and it's going to be, a fun thing to watch here in the fall.
What's your approach to the summer months and making that transition from spring ball to fall camp? And do you have any plans to maybe connect with some of the guys off the field?
Most definitely. I think this summer is all about hard work and dedication. How much work we're going to put in is going to translate to the field in the fall. And I think the point of emphasis this season is really just being undeniable and trying to put in the work that nobody else is putting in. Regardless if that's on a Monday or Friday, whenever the day is, we always have to be continuing to put in extra work because we know the more work we put in, the more we're going to get out. But I think this summer collectively is going to be a really big summer for us, working together, also just bonding off the field, doing things outside of Pullman together so we can get that relationships. And when you're playing together and you do things outside of football, you create that bond and that relationship to when it's on the field, you can trust that guy when you're backed up against the wall.
Lincoln, just 2 practices left. How do you make sure you get better?
Man, that's a great question. It's been a long ride, 5th year. You just got to cherish those moments. And I think diving into, this film and criticizing every little detail, you're never going to be perfect, but making sure that you're taking advantage of the coaching. And I think there's always going to be room to get better, but I think you just have to approach the day with a new mindset. You can't dwell on what you did last practice, can't dwell on what you're going to do in the future. You just got to live in the moment, got to stay present, and continue to work hard every single day. Mahalo, guys. Appreciate it.